All right, guys, you remember about a week ago or two whenever I said something like, I'm pretty confident that my PC is going to work now because it's basically a new machine. Well, that was a mistake. I guess I jinxed it when I said that, and the Bogdanovs must have heard me because they said, crash it. Anytime I would put any kind of load, like trying to export a video or even doing a stress test or playing video games, my graphics card would just crap out. And it was a 4090, so I don't know what the heck was wrong with it. It's supposed to be the best of the best. And now I got it fixed, but I think the stress kind of made me sick because I think I'm coming down with something. But that's okay because we also got some sick gains. Just look at Bitcoin go. I mean, this could be the start of a God candle. We got over $44,000 earlier today, and I guess this wasn't a broadening wedge after all. Well, it could have been, but in the bull market, Bitcoin just ignores the technical analysis and does whatever it wants. And I think we might see more of that during this bull run, especially because institutions are getting in. And the biggest asset managers in the world have enough money to manipulate the price, and they can make whatever kind of pattern they want right here, and they can make it do the opposite of what it's supposed to do. So these patterns might not matter that much in the meantime until probably enough money gets in that they can't manipulate it as easily. But I think that's going to be a while now because we're just getting started in this bull market, and I think we've got a ways to go. Here we have an article from Cointelegraph that says Robinhood's crypto trading rises 75% in November. CEO tips 9 figures in revenue. So Vlad Tenev has been having a good couple of months, and this is a really great sign that retail investors are starting to enter the market again. Robinhood was all the rage in the last bull market, and I think there's a lot of retail investors who still do Robinhood because it's pretty much the easiest one around. Also, it's regulated in the US, and it's probably pretty safe, and a lot of people use it, but the institutions don't. So this is just a sign that the retail investors are getting excited again and they're starting to ape back in. Everybody's obviously excited about the BlackRock ETF and they're trying to front run BlackRock because whenever the biggest asset manager in the world gets in, there's only one direction we can probably go from there, and that's up. According to this article on investing.com, BlackRock and peers anticipate $100 billion in Bitcoin ETF market. This is a little bit of a low estimate, I think, because I've heard people say numbers in the trillions. But at the minimum, I would say $100 billion sounds pretty reasonable, at least for the first bull market with an ETF. And if $100 billion that's expected to go into these ETFs is enough to have things pumping like it is right now, then maybe we haven't seen anything yet, because what's going to happen after all these institutions get in? Well, the next step is sovereign wealth funds. $100 billion is pretty significant, but what is it going to do whenever Qatar is supposedly going to put $500 billion into Bitcoin? And is it just going to be Qatar? I mean, we already seen El Salvador doing stuff like this, with not as much money, obviously, but if we start to see countries around the world trying to ape into Bitcoin as well, then there could be a competition for them to see how much they can get their hands on. And between all of these countries and all of these huge institutions, there's really not enough Bitcoin to go around, obviously, and we're going to enter this thing called price discovery, which basically means that Bitcoin's price is just going to be worth whatever the last person sold some for. And you can probably do the math, because if a country or an institution like BlackRock wants to get their hands on a Bitcoin and there's not one available, then they're probably going to have to do some kind of auction or something, and then the Bitcoin is going to go to the highest bidder. Imagine how high those bids could go. If you look here at the logarithmic chart, you can see this trading channel that we've been trapped within since the beginning of Bitcoin. And if you go further down the line here, you can see that eventually these two lines are going to cross. And also they're going to start curving to the downside. So either Bitcoin is eventually going to level off and have some kind of a peak here, or what I think is going to happen is that eventually these 4-year cycles aren't going to take effect anymore, because like I've said in the past, the transaction fees are going to surpass the value of the reward for the blocks, and then volume on the network is actually going to be what drives the price instead of the 4-year halvening cycle. Whenever we see that happen, we could see it break out of this trading channel that we've been in since the beginning of Bitcoin time, and it could make some kind of a S-curve like this going pretty much straight up. I know it seems kind of crazy right now, but really just think about it. Are we going to flatten off and level off here whenever BlackRock and the ETFs and all of that is just now starting to happen? Or are we going to do something more like what happened on the gold chart whenever there was an ETF approved? The first gold ETF was approved on March 28th, 2003, and if you go look at the chart over here, you can see what happened in 2003. Since the beginning of the gold chart, you can see that it was already pretty bullish, especially back in the 70s whenever we went off the gold standard. But it leveled off for quite some time until there was an ETF approved. After that, gold basically went straight up. And that's because people could buy gold without actually having to hold it in their own possession and risk losing it or having it stolen or something. And the same thing is happening with Bitcoin, which means that we could see something like that for Bitcoin as well. And I think this bull market could be the one, because if it's not going to be the time whenever institutions and government wealth funds are all getting into crypto, then when is it really going to happen? I wouldn't really say that I'm bullish right now. I would probably say more like apish. But the responsible thing to do here is to warn you that we do have a CME gap that a lot of people are talking about. And like I said in the beginning of the video, with BlackRock and all of these huge institutions getting into Bitcoin, these patterns and these indicators on the charts might not mean anything. But historically, the percentage of CME gaps that get filled is between 60 and 80%. So this is something that we should probably pay attention to. Like I've said in a lot of videos, and like a lot of people say in crypto, nobody's ever gone broke by taking profits. But I think that there should probably be a second part to that saying, and that is that you could definitely stay poor though by taking profits. It's always fine to take a little bit off the top, and it's probably prudent to do so, but don't take too much, because then you might miss out on the big gains to come. Also, if we do come down to fill this gap, it's only an 11% dip from right here. And if you've held on through the whole bear market like I have, then you probably don't even care about that anyway. I just wanted to let you guys know, because I am feeling pretty apish, but retracements are always going to happen during the bull market, and that's okay. Because it looks to me like the bull market is back, and I think the bears have finally gone back into hibernation. And now that the bears are crawling back in their holes, the altcoins are coming back out to play, so it's probably time for me to start talking about them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What are your favorite altcoins, and which ones would you like me to talk about in future videos? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.